we need the hard dollar savings to get through this year, and that's the bottom line. You know, we're looking at multi-million-dollar differences between revenues and expenses in 2012 and 2013, and you know, we can talk about this, you know, for the next 6 months at this table. Bottom line is, we're running out of cash. We've got to do something. And if we don't do it in an organized fashion, then it's going to be chaos, and we'll end up like some of these jurisdictions that have filed bankruptcy.
It's been mentioned before, we have plans, but we don't necessarily always follow through with them. Well, this is one where you have a plan, and what if something else happens that causes you to change course? PA4, we know that it's up in the air right now. And potentially it will be voted down by the voters, placed on the ballot. What then, in terms of all of what you've worked on here today? What is the contingency?
I think I can't say specifically what we might do, but what I can tell you is the problem, no matter what happens to PA4, we still are running out of cash.
Right, no, I got
and we collectively are going to have to do something. So we got to figure something out. If you know, from my standpoint, we continue on the current path, no matter what happens to PA4.
It was just for clarification, and maybe it's even more for the people who are watching on television. Negotiations occur at that point, or what?
I think there's a combination of whether it's negotiation, but also layoffs. I mean, the question is, you can't get, you know, you have $800 million out of labor expenses, 262, as people know, are healthcare. So you got to get those first. But as Jack said, the cash.
Yeah, I think there's a doomsday scenario where, you know, it probably gets to layoffs and additional furlough days, you know, where we potentially shut down parts of the city. We've got to get to these numbers, and I think that's the thing that everybody has to keep in mind, because the current trajectory of the revenue, which is from year to year, has been down. Expenses have been level or growing, and it's an unsustainable trend. We just can't operate like this. As much as we'd like to not do any of this, the only way we can make this city survive and prosper is to take actions like this.
Public safety is essential to the rebirth of Detroit, and you won't be able to bring any type of stabilization to this city unless you have public safety. Cutting the police officers' pay, slashing health care, reducing pension, and restrictions on work rules, which erodes seniority, is not the answer. It's another building block to the problem. These things will not reduce crime, will not stop the unprecedented numbers of homicides, shootings, carjackings, arsons, and violent crimes. Other alternatives exist. The city should be investing and not dismantling its core and most essential service, which is the police department. This city has spiraled out of control. Ask any officer or citizen. Homicides, assaults, shootings, and violent crimes are an everyday occurrence. It's one thing that is actually flourishing in Detroit. Chief Godby claims to the contrary are simply not true. No matter how the department cooks the statistics, the reality is crime is thriving and growing and overwhelming not only the police officers but its citizens. And it needs to stop. Now, I sat here and listened to about these contracts. When the mayor needed our help, as he did with the other unions itself, he came in and he was here every day. Talked to him every day. They would meet on Saturdays, they'd meet on Sundays to get this deal done because they wanted to actually get away from this emergency manager deal. If we got this consent decree, everything would be fine. They came up with the numbers as far as the savings was concerned, and we sat down. And what they've basically done is taken everything out of the TA that suits them, and then implemented a 10% pay cut on us anyway. We went through those negotiations to avoid the 10% pay cut, and what they did now is turned their back, and it's shameful. They're disrespectful. I wouldn't say disingenuous. They're liars.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.